Yeah, it's Big Lamar, not the little one. Welcome to the channel. Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan is exposing the music industry and Hollywood. They're saying that there's a lot of weird things that has to be done if you want a music deal or if you want to be put in these movies. Man, this is crazy, wild, and weird. Let's see and listen to what Dave and Joe is talking about. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video.
Joe Rogan just pulled back the curtain on what goes on behind the scenes in Hollywood and what actors and music artists are expected to do if they want
to his office. And
I already know who they talking about. Harvey Weinstein. They talking about Harvey Weinstein. We already know that he was crazy, weird, and sick.
This is like, in the 60s or whatever. So he had his office, and then he had a whole bedroom in his studio.
Yeah.
Where he would bang all the starlets. Like, if you want...
That's wild. He had a bedroom in the studio. You already know what he was on. It's a shame.
Wanted to be a star. You had to bang that guy. Which is just the deal with the devil that has always been that business.
That's always been there. There's always been there. It's like why people start cults.
Yeah.
They always end up being cults, right? All these
100% of the time.
All of these guys on Netflix, it ends up being creepy and sexual.
Yep, all of them.
That's part of it, and I think if you have that kind of power...
Incredible films.
Right.
child.
Man, it's a damn shame how they abuse the power, man. The abuse of power is insane. And people will do anything to be in these movies and to get these music deals. This is wild stuff, man. This is wild.
Actors suffer the most in Hollywood. And the unfortunate truth is that most of the time, the parents know exactly what is happening.
And the sickest thing about this, to me, is that there's kids involved a lot of times. These people abuse kids, man. That's sick, man. That's terrible.
Hollywood is an industry that thrives on people staying quiet. Couch casting has existed for decades now. Everybody on set knows what the director or producer is doing with the performers and what the performer had to do to get cast, but no one cares. As long as they're making...
That's wild. Everybody knows what's going on. They know what these producers and directors are doing to these people and kids, and nobody's saying anything. You just let these young kids get abused, these women get abused, and you don't say anything. That's not right, man. That is bogus.
Making money, everyone stays silent.
Hollywood managers who manage kids, it's a racket, man.
Did you hear that kid from Strange...
These kids, dude.
What blows my mind when I sit here and listen to this, I just think about all those kid stars that I grew up watching. You know, Arnold and just all the kid stars that I grew up watching, man. Just to think of the things that they had to go through for us to see them in these movies and in these shows that they were in. And nobody said or did anything. That's wild, man. That blows my mind, man.
From Strange Things?
Stranger Things.
He just left his manager, and they're alleging they just left their agent. See if you can find that. Owen Benjamin,
the curly-haired kid. Oh,
yeah.
And he's
Owen
in
Benjamin just put it on his Instagram today because Owen has been taking a lot of heat online because he said that a 3-year-old kid shouldn't be transgender, and people giving him a hard time saying he's a bigot. Like, are you out of your mind? When
I'm gonna have to agree with that. A 3-year-old kid should not be transgender. No kid should even be exposed to anything that has to do with that. That's wild. And they need to really cut that out and quit feeding that kind of stuff to these kids. Man, I find it crazy that these young kids in elementary school think that they're, I don't even know how, I don't want to say the wrong thing. You know, we're on YouTube and everything. But they teach these kids at a young age, elementary school and all that, about transgenders and things of that nature. And that is not right, man. You got to let these kids grow up, let their mind and their body develop, and then they'll figure out which way they want to go then. Quit feeding this stuff to the little kids, man. They should not even know anything about that.
Up with this
Look at this.
transgender.
Stranger Things actor dropped agent because of accused of sexual assault. Disney star follows suit. Jesus Christ. This is nuts,
Watch
man.
an Open Secret, and they go through. Dude, they they're accusing people. It's for free. I think on Vimeo.
Yeah, you
can
can
watch
watch
it for
it.
free. An Open Secret.
Yeah.
Another thing that I think is so sick about this, especially when it comes to the kids, these people pick and choose the kid that they want to abuse. That's crazy, man. That is wild. These people are seeking out young kids just to abuse them, man. That's crazy.
2%.
On Vimeo.
You know what Sturgill Simpson told me? He said the same thing exists in music.
What?
He said in music there's a bunch of pedos and pederasties
Sure.
in music as well.
The entertainment business all the way through. Music. This was about. This is about music and movies and TV. It's about the whole entertainment
so it's
business.
women and kids.
Mostly
get abused.
kids.
And
Mostly
sometimes
kids.
dudes. You know, Terry Crews said that he was attacked. Well, not attacked. Some dude grabbed his
Taken from his
some
wife.
famous dude grabbed his dick.
And I still say Terry Crews did not react the way that he should have reacted when that man grabbed him by the Bozak. That's wild. Terry Crews, you should have reacted in a whole different way when that man grabbed you by the Bozak. That's all I'm going to say. You might have liked it the way you reacted.
Small group of directors, producers, screenwriters, and music executives hold all the power in Hollywood. And in recent years, we've seen only some of them be exposed. Harvey Weinstein, Sean Diddy Combs, R. Kelly, Woody Allen, these were all huge names in the film and music business. They probably worked with hundreds of performers. Everyone in the industry.
A lot of the people that's been accused and has been exposed so far, a lot of times you see them all in the same picture with each other, man. Birds of a feather flock together, and that's for sure, man. The industry, the entertainment industry, is a sick, sick world, man.
Knew about the elites, but they remained silent to protect their careers. Allegedly, one of these elites is Oprah. It isn't a coincidence that somehow Oprah is friends with every abuser that has been exposed in the last 10 years.
Man, I grew up watching Oprah. My mom was watching Oprah when I was growing up. You know, Miss Color Purple herself. It's a damn shame that Miss Color Purple, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, is even involved in stuff like this. And knows about it and didn't say or do anything. Shame on you, Oprah.
Oprah publicly supported victims of assault in the wake of numerous allegations against Harvey Weinstein. Singer Seal Instagrammed this meme, showing Winfrey kissing the disgraced mogul. It reads, "When you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly
Right.
they all think you are the solution."
Right.
Please welcome Seal!
The 54-year-old who's appeared on Oprah's show captioned his post, "Oh, I forgot, that's right, you'd heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually serially assaulting young starry-eyed actresses, my bad." While Weinstein maintains his innocence, Seal hasn't commented further, and Oprah has not responded.
This moment is a really powerful time for everybody to get woke.
Fans have come to her defense, pointing out when.
You know what? When I think about it, Oprah probably went through the same thing as well when she was trying to come up in the industry. She was probably a victim at one point or another. So she should definitely speak up, say something, or do something about this.
Free is a survivor. They also posted pics of Seal's ex, Heidi Klum, kissing Weinstein too.
Joe Rogan talked about this too. In a recent episode with Tim Dillon, he revealed that Oprah knew Harvey Weinstein and worked with him for decades. She and almost everyone else in the film industry knew what he was doing. Allegedly, Harvey Weinstein had it in his contract that you couldn't sue him for assault. In exchange for sexual favors, you could get cast in any movie you wanted.
It's the other thing about him.
He had it in his contracts that you couldn't even sue him for abusing you. Now that's wild. That is wild.
It's so crazy is how many photographs of famous people were with him and how many people thanked him when they won the award.
Of course.
It's so, and how it was this open secret, but it's just like they accepted this deal with the devil. Like the devil's going to make you a star if you suck. And apparently that's what he would do.
Yeah.
Whitney told me that there was girls that he knew, girls that she knew rather, that did the deal. And it was a deal. Like he's going to get you in this movie, and they and they got in the movie. Like he would hold up his end.
Damn. That is crazy, man. If you come over here, bob your head, put it in the air, you can get in one of my movies. And a lot of people went for that because just like clout, stardom, people would do anything for that as well.
The bargain, which is one of the reasons why he was so powerful, because he really could. He wasn't just everybody.
Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein were allegedly sourcing young performers for other elites to Epstein's island.
Throughout history, whether they were kings or what, human beings are human beings universally. So everybody is a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein, these guys knew what these extremists liked and provided it, and provided the way for you to to have $1 billion and not create a fantasy island type environment has not existed throughout history.
Right.
These elites use promises of fame, money, and at times, threats of forced child actors and young performers to do what they wanted. The one person that Joe Rogan respects in the entertainment industry is Dave Chappelle. And that's because Dave said no to money. Dave Chappelle was offered $100 million, but he said no. Oprah even asked him if he was crazy for not taking the money. Dave told her that he knew that money would then be used to control him. After Dave said,
Dave knew what was coming with that money. They would have wanted him to bob his head and put it in the air for that money. And I'm just glad that Dave Chappelle stood on all 10 toes and said, no, F that money. All money ain't good money, and I ain't busting it open, and I ain't bobbing my head for that money. You can keep that money. Shout out to Dave Chappelle for that.
no, Oprah made fun of him. At the time, no one but Joe Rogan realized why Dave was doing this. But now, everything is becoming clear.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14.
Oprah looking at him like, you didn't want to bust it open for all that money? I busted open and bobbed my head plenty of times, and look where it's gotten me. I'm a billionaire because I put it in the air and busted open. Oprah a fool.
And I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When I saw
when you
these
say you
things.
heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
He heard about
Well,
you.
look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through, and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
That's another thing that happens in Hollywood and in the music industry. You take that money and then you don't want to bust it open or bob your head. Oh, they gonna make you look real bad. Super bad. You gonna look crazy. They gonna come up with all kind of allegations. You might get a couple cases on you and everything. So that's the other side of turning down that or accepting the money and not doing what they want you to do, like bob your head and bust it open.
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No,
No.
not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress.
Comedian Dave Chappelle left tens of millions of dollars on the table when he walked away from his popular Comedy Central show. A lot of people wondered what the hell was he thinking, and that's a quote. Chappelle.
I definitely didn't understand why he did that, and I was thinking, what the hell is he thinking? Because that was one of my favorite shows at the time. Like, I had to watch that. I had the whole DVD collection of that show. I mean, I loved it, man. And I didn't understand at the time, but I understand now. And I just want to say, shout out to Dave Chappelle for being a real one and standing his ground on that.
Says he had,
he was thinking.
or whether he was thinking. A lot of people ask that question. Chappelle says he had a crisis of conscience and stood up for his integrity as an artist. He explained to us how stepping out of the spotlight helped him avoid getting caught in a trap.
It's so much bigger than money, though, Dave. It's so much bigger than money.
Oh, no, it was bigger than money. But you know what? I watched one of these nature shows one time, and they were talking about how a bushman finds water when it's scarce. And they do what's called a salt trap. I didn't know this. Apparently, baboons love salt.
Okay.
So they put a lump of salt in a hole, and they wait for the baboon. The baboon comes, sticks his hand in the hole, grabs the salt makes his hand bigger, and he's trapped. He can't get his hand out. Now, if he's smart, all he does is let go of the salt. Baboon doesn't want to let go of the salt. Then the bushman just comes, takes the baboon, throws him in the cage, and gives him all the salt he wants. And then the baboon gets thirsty. The bushman lets him out the cage. The first place the baboon runs to is water. Bushman follows him, and they both drink to their fill. And in that analogy, I felt like the baboon. But I was smart enough to let go of the salt.
Why did Oprah never speak out about Harvey Weinstein before his arrest? After Weinstein's arrest, Oprah knew the criticism that was coming for her, and she started trying to distance herself from the controversy. Only after she saw A-list celebrities coming under fire for their connection to Weinstein did she finally start to speak out about the situation.
She knew that she was going to get brought up in that eventually. So she tried to save face and speak up and talk against Harvey Weinstein when no, that's her friend. That was definitely her friend, and she most likely has some kind of relations with Harvey Weinstein. And when I say relations, I mean she probably busted it open and bobbed her head for Harvey. I'm gonna have to do my homework and just check and see if she was in any of his movies. And she may have been, but I'm not 100% sure. But one thing that I am sure about is that she bobbed her head and busted it open for Harvey for sure. Harvey had to get him some of that chocolate.
and how much the victims mean to her.
Kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. And this is what I do know for sure. When something...
I just want to know, how does Oprah deal with the situation so well? I mean, she is an actor, so I guess she could be putting on an act, because I'm quite sure that Oprah, being that she's a black woman and she was trying to make it in Hollywood at a certain point of time, that she went through all kind of abuse. So I wonder, how does she handle that and play it off so well? You know, it's wild, man. It's crazy.
This major happens when you have the fallout, 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment. And what I do believe is actually happening is that, first of all, it's triggering a lot of unreleased pain, repressed anger, guilt, and suffering that a lot of women have had. I happened to be on set with several actresses the other day, and we were filming some things, and they were like, hadn't slept over a period of 2 or 3 days, and I was like, what is that? I said, oh, you guys are suffering from PTSD.
And when you start talking about it out loud, too,
everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And so I think this is a watershed moment. I think this is a moment where no matter what business you work in,
Oprah should tell us her story. Gail, when you gonna expose what went on with Oprah? You know, tell us what she had to go through during her come up, because I'm sure Gail knows.
there have been women who not only had the disease to please, that's a part of it, but who felt that in order to keep my job, in order to keep my position, in order to keep moving forward, I've got to smile, I've got to look the other way, I got to...
Oprah knows this oh so well because she's speaking about herself as well.
Pretend he didn't say that. I got to pretend he didn't touch me. I think those days are about to be over.
Are over. And if it happens to you back in the day, you would say, sometimes you're not even aware what he just said wasn't really inappropriate.
I know you've had a couple moments.
Where you just think, what did he just say?
Yes, I remember Gail had a moment when she came and said to me what somebody said that it was so inappropriate. I was like, oh my God, you could sue over that. But
no, and all I said was, what did you say? And then they repeated it.
Yes.
It's terrible. I just sat there typing with my 20-something-year-old.
Pretend you didn't hear it.
Yes.
You pretend it's okay. You pretend you didn't.
No, it isn't. You're right, Jeff. It absolutely, you're absolutely right.
But a lot of women have been silenced, and I know.
But I do think it's going to change.
Being a victim of that, when you feel like you cannot be heard, and then other people start speaking out, it makes you feel like, oh, now I can speak out too.
Facts. I'm gonna have to agree with Oprah on that. And I will even go as far as to say maybe that's why Oprah really hasn't said much about her situations. Maybe it takes these other cases and these other situations coming out for her to get the courage to eventually speak up for herself and everything that she has been and went through. That makes sense to me. I'm gonna have to give Oprah that.
Yeah. So, and you've been speaking about it for years. Yeah.
There's so many horrific accusations though involving young singers, like children.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's insane.
He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy.
That's hard to do. I used to be a big R. Kelly fan. I used to be singing all his songs. I can remember being young, meeting a girl. I would just bump R. Kelly all day thinking about her. And then one day I was surfing the internet and the video came out. As a matter of fact, the DVD and everything came out. R. Kelly at his crib, eating groceries, taking a leak with and on a young lady. And ever since then, I never looked at R. Kelly the same. Especially since around that time is around the time when I first had my first kid, which was a little baby girl. I could never look at R. Kelly the same after that. And I never did. And I never will.
And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah, hanging out with Obama,
Jay-Z,
everybody.
As for what this group of elites was actually doing at Epstein's Island, I'll let Roger Avery, director, producer, and Academy Award-winning screenwriter known for Pulp Fiction, answer that question.
They're eating man. Like that's
you think, so that you think is real. So
well, yeah. Not only that, I think that there's sacrifices going on every day in Los Angeles. I mean,
what did he say they was eating? Did he say they was eating little ones? And I've been hearing stories about that recently. Over there on that island and everything. Man, this stuff gets dark and it's sick, man.
Allegedly, high-level musicians, let's say, high-level female musician, is chickens every day, doing sacrifices,
high level.
Well, I don't want to say. I don't want to say names because I don't want to get sued, and I don't want to be dead either.
What is it, Ron?
Joe Rogan later revealed that these Hollywood elites treat you like you're beneath them.
There's an arrogance that some stars had, particularly in the 90s. When I first came to Hollywood, and this is really evident for me because I was not a star, but I was on a television show. So I got to be around a lot of stars. And there was a way that some of them would treat you. They would let you know that you are subhuman. You are below them. They would communicate with you in the most disrespectful and dismissive ways. Weird. Like mousy guys that I could instantly. And they would just be rude to you in a really weird way because they had power. They had power, and then when an executive would come over, they would turn on the charm. They'd be smiling and laughing, and then you would talk to them at the craft service, and they would dismiss you in the shittiest ways. I encountered a bunch of that.
Yeah.
It was commonplace, and it was, I think, a thing that they aspired to.
This is where the story takes an even darker turn. Stephen Twitch Boss was an executive producer of The Ellen Show and stayed on with Ellen for almost 8 years until the show ended in 2022.
I still don't believe the story that they've been putting out, or that they put out, about this guy Twitch that worked on the Ellen Show. I just find it hard to believe that things went down the way they're saying it went down. And I believe his mom doesn't believe it. I think his mom has been coming out and saying that she believes there was some kind of foul play. And the story that they have been saying is not true. It doesn't make sense to her. And it doesn't make sense to me either.
On December 13th, 2022, Stephen ended his life. No one knew why Twitch had taken such a drastic step until a note was recovered, where he was allegedly blaming Ellen. According to some sources online, Twitch possessed dark, compromising evidence involving both DeGeneres and Diddy.
We're learning more tonight about the tragic side of Stephen Twitch.
I did hear that she was at them Diddy parties. Sean John suits and baby oil.
Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before his suicide, he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left a suicide note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
I want to take you back to
before we hear what Tyler Perry has to say, I just want to say one more thing that I thought was really bogus about this Twitch situation is that his wife moved on so fast. I believe she got married already, or she's either engaged. That's wild, man, and that is super disrespectful. I believe it was some dirty business going on with the Twitch situation, man. I do not believe that story, especially the way his wife moved on so fast. Something is up with that. It needs to be more investigating into that situation.
Time in my life where I tried to commit suicide a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is stay in my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
Details of what was allegedly going on behind the doors at the parties Ellen was arranging with Diddy's help have also come out. Comedian Richard Pryor said that Hollywood elites were organizing orgies and drug-fueled parties. Keep in mind, this was all before details of what Diddy was doing came out. Someone else was doing this too, not just Diddy. If you tried to speak out against this, your career would end. You would stop getting invited, and your name would be permanently blackballed.
Now I'm in Malibu, and it's supposed to be the shit, but but I didn't understand that. I'm with a black man that owns his house in Malibu. That's unheard of. Flip made it clear. He said, yeah, there's other black people here. Miles Davis is down the street. He's renting. So-and-so, he's renting. I own my but I still didn't get it because I'm young. It's like, this is some boring shit out here on Malibu, the white people left and right, what's going on? So Flip one day looked at me and said, oh, you want to see the shit? I don't know what this shit is, but I want to see something other than Malibu. And he took me to the parties. He took me to the shit to make me understand this is why I don't be around me. And so you seen the orgies. You seen the people that was the stars and the that they was doing. And the smells and the looks in their eyes.
That man said, he said he couldn't forget the smells. I bet it was smelling like booty, D, and P. Pudussy. Oh, he said he cannot get the Pudussy smell out of his memory. God dang. This is wild.
And I was, in my youth, I kept a cutlass on me. And so I know I'm walking around holding my cutlasses because you seen people.
He said that spot was smelling like Pudussy. Because they was in there busting it open and bobbing their head. And it was men in there getting they back busted. It was some D&B going on up in there. All them dudes was in there getting their back busted, and it was smelling like Pudussy up in there.
In states of mind that you never experienced something like that. I knew people that got high, but they didn't get high and did the that I was seeing. And so after I was exposed to it, Flip took me around it about 4 or 5 times, and then he said to me, "You see why I don't fuck with that? Because you had a group of people that painted their fingernails black, what they call Illuminati now. It was some kind of clique then, and in this clique, we wife swap and all this kind of shit. You can fuck my wife and stand there and watch, and all I seen it. I literally seen all these things, and it was like, okay. And in my youth, I wasn't afraid, but I knew I would have hurt somebody if I was approached. I would have hurt somebody.
This might sound crazy, but what's even...
Old School said he was going to hurt somebody if they tried to bust his back. God, shit, he said he wasn't with that D&B, man. It's funny.
Crazier is how veteran actors like Jim Carrey have been saying the same thing for years. Jim Carrey even named multiple comedians who were part of this circle of elites. He said this on live TV. Back in 2014, Jim Carrey used an overtly sexual-looking hand sign and claimed it represented the Illuminati.
Man, that's eating booty. That's what that sign is, man. That's the sign for eating them booty, eating them groceries.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it.
Around the same time, Joe Rogan spoke out about allegations and patterns of abuse and predation in the entertainment industry, and how common might be among child actors and young performers. Almost a decade later, after the truth about Diddy and Harvey Weinstein came out, it was all proven to be true.
That's one thing. You're going to see all them pedo guys and, you know, all those abusers taking pictures with each other, man. Birds of a feather flock together, man. The proof is in the pudding, man. We see the pictures, man. All the guys that's been accused and that has been charged with different things like that, they all got pictures with each other, man. They all been in the same parties. And in those parties, there's been a lot of back bussing going on, a lot of D&B going on, man. And it was smelling like Badussy up in them parties. I bet them Diddy parties was definitely smelling like Badussy.
Don't let your kids get into acting. Do not let your kids get into
Has
that.
it ever worked out?
Well, you know, the other thing is, like, look at what happened with that Sandusky guy. That guy was taking care of kids. Like, his whole thing was like, hey, I do charitable work with children. You know, I do charitable work and I take care of these kids.
Camp.
Yeah, I'm just all about helping kids. It's all about helping kids. They're our future.
Hell yeah, they're going after
that
him.
guy's entire business. Here's the thing. He's one of many. There's got to be like a bunch of people that ran their business that way.
But Weinstein, they say, like, in Hollywood, like, my agent's like, oh no, yeah, it's about time you got caught. I'm like, what the? Everyone knew this.
Dude,
like, everyone knew.
Did you see
everyone
his contract? It was in his contract. The way he had his contract set up was like they had a certain amount of money that he would have to pay if he had a harassment claim against him. It was like,
it was a thing for him.
Yes, like he had so many claims. That's like,
that's sick. That man already knew what he was gonna do, so he said, "Look, sign this contract. In this contract is saying you can't sue me for what I'm about to do to you, which is bust your back, you know. But for me busting your back, I'm going to still break you off this much money for doing it to you. Even though it's wrong and you didn't like it, don't worry about it. I'm going to pay you anyway. And you can be in one of my movies."
first offense was $100,000.
Wild.
Second offense
Oh
was
my God.
$250,000. Third offense was $750,000. Fourth offense
What
was
do
$1
you mean?
million.
What
He had it written into his contract.
What contract?
First, second, third, and fourth offense. So he had different price ranges for the first, second, third, and fourth time that he did it to you. Man, this is wild. And who would actually let him do it that many? Well, I guess some people were maybe powerless maybe a little brainwashed, maybe a little naive, probably even scared. It's crazy, man. And that man knew what he was going to do, so he made sure he put it in his contract. Oh, man. He basically was paying you to bust your back, or for you to come bob your head, or put it in the air for him. Man, this is wild, man. I'm so glad that my kids did not get involved in that, as far as Hollywood or any of that. Because I can remember back in the day, my son, you know, he was a cute little baby boy. So I just knew that he would do good in, you know, maybe some diaper commercials or something like that. I'm glad that that stuff did not work out. Seriously. After hearing these stories. I didn't know about all this stuff back then. I would hate myself right now if my kids would have went through, you know, any kind of acting in any shows or commercials after finding this stuff out. That would be terrible, man.
Max, his contract with the Weinstein Company, like
he owned Miramax, right?
I don't know. Explain that contract. Like he'd have to pay $100,000.
Yes. Okay, they're protecting themselves.
Oh, when they sign him, they go, okay, the first time with one of these guys, it's gonna be $100,000.
Yes.
Second time, it's 200.
It's not
Holy.
Yes, I mean it was
That's
so
how big of a problem it
yes, it was such a huge. It was so known of what he would do, and look, even Quentin Tarantino said that he did it to his ex-girlfriend.
All of these allegations.
Wow. That's all I can say right now. Wow. Wild, crazy, sick, and weird.
Were backed up by director Roger Avery, who went on Joe Rogan and said that everything in the Epstein files about Hollywood is real. He was actually surprised that no one was surprised and had somehow accepted it all as normal.
I think Ridley Scott knows things and Cormac McCarthy know things about the world that they put on film before everything was known. Like, I think if that milk was released today, people would be like, yeah, that's what's happening today.
Yeah.
And so, they're putting people in sulfuric acid into milk, into drums.
Yeah, what the?
And shipping them around the world, as a joke. That's
in the film?
Yeah, there's all sorts.
Did you see the thing in the Epstein files?
Oh, yeah. Like those Epstein files. In fact, I can't believe that, like, everybody just kind of like, oh, okay, and they're moving on with their lives. Did you see that guy at the Atlanta airport flipping out, the well-dressed black dude who just freaks out in the Atlanta, just like a couple of days ago. I saw it on YouTube, and I saw it on Twitter or X, and this guy's just freaking out in the Atlanta airport. He's like, I read the Epstein files. Like, all of you're going about your lives like nothing's happening. Look, you're all zombies. And he's right. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Everybody is just numb to everything. Like,
this is where the conversation starts going even deeper into speculation. On an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, longtime Rogan guest Eddie Bravo laid out a theory about the Epstein list and why it might explain why so many powerful people seemed connected to the same network. He speculates that hidden cameras, underage victims, and carefully controlled guest lists could have allowed powerful organizers to compromise influential people from industries like Hollywood, politics, finance, and even academia.
It seems so crazy to think there's not a list.
That's what Jimmy said. He's a tinfoil hat guy.
There's a lady in jail for trafficking.
And Jimmy would acknowledge
to no one. Like, there's no one who's been arrested that she's trafficked to.
And that's what Aaron's saying.
Well, there's a list that's out. Who knows if it's fake? I don't know. It could be a fake list. Who knows? But Chris Tucker's on that list. And they asked Chris Tucker on a podcast, what's up?
Whoa. Not Chris Tucker. Man, that is disappointing to hear. Chris Tucker's on that list. God, man. And that's the thing about the information that has been coming out about those files and the list and that island and all that. every day you hear about people that you would never think would be involved or would associate with any of this kind of stuff. It's crazy, man. And I'm not going to say that everybody that gets brought up in that situation with the island and the files and all that is guilty of doing the same things that the guy who owned the island is accused of, but man, I don't know, man. It's just wild, man. It blows my mind. I swear.
You being on the list, he didn't do what Jimmy Kimmel said. Jimmy Kimmel said it's a fake list. Who cares what that list says? It's fake.
Right.
Chris Tucker goes, yeah, I did go on that flight, but we went to Africa and I went with a bunch of diplomats. I didn't know who the Epstein guy was. Like Chris Tucker says, like, I had no idea. We were on this plane. We were going to Africa, do some diplomatic shit, and turns out he's a. I didn't know.
Well, they definitely got people.
My point was, Chris Tucker basically confirmed that the list was like legit because he's on it.
Right.
Finally, we've got
That's facts. That was some kind of confirmation right there. Yeah. Yeah. He did kind of confirm that that list is real. His name popped up on it, and he admitted to being around. So, man, this stuff is it's sick, man.
Dave Chappelle, the one person who saw how messed up Hollywood is and walked away from it all.
Isn't it weird that that's what we think about when we think about Hollywood? We think about red carpets and people with tuxedos on and ridiculous watches and purses and all just standing there on the red carpet.
It's a tough one.
It's weird.
I mean, I don't knock, and by the way, I don't knock anybody for doing that at all. I don't think, but that, that ain't what we doing.
No. I'm not interested.
No, it's fun sometimes.
It's just so weird. It's so different than real life.
Investing celebrity into getting more celebrity is a treadmill I don't feel interested in running on in the twilight of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you get it. You know what it's like to be famous.
Yeah. And I'm not mad at fame. When you say fame, I'm not mad at that. Celebrity, well, that's the one.
What's the difference?
It's fine. I was talking to Letterman about it. Celebrity is the role. That's the one on the red carpet. You're famous. It's not that you're not a celebrity, but it's not like you're sticking your pinky toe out on the red carpet. And you're not going places and people saying, "What are you wearing?"
Right.
You didn't make your life about that. You're not tethered to endorsements and this, that, and the other. You're tethered to yourself, to your journey, to your life, which makes it meaningful.
Right.
Whether these stories represent isolated cases or a deeper systemic problem inside the entertainment industry is still being debated. What's clear?
Dave Chappelle said, no, I don't want my back busted just so I can be famous and be a celebrity. I mean, we got to admit it. Dave Chappelle is pretty funny. He was a pretty decent actor. He could have been doing a lot of work, but he stands for something, and it's just not worth it to Dave Chappelle. Shout out to Dave Chappelle for just being a man and standing 10 toes down.
Is that more people today are willing to speak openly about the pressure, manipulation, and power dynamics that many performers say exist behind the scenes.
Jay-Z. I got a big feeling that Jay-Z is going to be getting exposed about some things sooner or later. The music industry and Hollywood is dirty, dark, and it's weird. And now all the information, all the truth is being exposed thanks to the internet and things of that nature. This video kind of made me mad. I ain't gonna lie, man. Just thinking about the things that all those stars been through, man. It's just sick, man. It's Big Lamar, not the little one. Like this video, share it, subscribe. I'm out.